Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's hearing for a new premises license application for HM Food and Wine, 16 King Street, Southall, UB2 4DA. My name is Councillor Rima Baklini, and I will be chairing the meeting. My colleagues, Councillor Kelly, Councillor Gallant, and I comprise today's subcommittee. Alison Luff is the legal advisor to the subcommittee, and Zaina Ahmed is the clerk and will be minuting today's meeting. In accordance with procedure, I shall invite the applicant to present the application, answer any questions, and call any witnesses. I will also invite those who have made representations to make their representations, answer any questions, and call any witnesses. At the conclusion of the hearing, the subcommittee, accompanied by the legal advisor and the clerk, will retire to consider its decision. The decision will be given at the end of the meeting and confirmed in writing within 5 working days. If the panel cannot reach a decision today, you will be notified in writing within 5 working days of the panel's decision. Can I now start, please, by asking all present and intending to speak to introduce themselves, please? Can we start with the premises manager and the premises representative? Mr. Panchal?
Yeah, I'm Mr. Panchal from Personal License Courses UK Limited, representing Mr. Satpal Wadhwa, who's the new applicant. Mr. Satpal Wadhwa is here with me.
Yeah, my name is Mr. Satpal Wadhwa. I'm the new applicant of the HM Food and Wine.
Thank you. Bob Deere?
Thank you, Chair. Bob Deere, Licensed Enforcement Officer for Ealing Council.
Thank you. Sergeant Kassar. Sergeant?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Chair. Yeah.
Good morning.
Sergeant Dimitri Kassar, representing the police.
We could hardly hear you, sorry. Your connection is not really clear.
Is that me, Chair?
Yes, it's from your end. The connection isn't clear.
I'll log back in and log out.
Now we can hear you.
Okay, I will. Okay, Sergeant Dimitri Kassar representing the Metropolitan Police.
Councillor, Chair.
Yes, Sergeant, can you please make sure that you have...
Chair, can I make a suggestion, please? And
yes.
Because we've been through this a number of times with the police's
turn off their video, maybe?
Well, no, I mean, he's in the same building as Mr. Deere. Mr. Deere's feed is as clear. If he could share the same space and the same camera as Mr. Deere.
Yes, that would be a great suggestion.
You know,
Councillor Kelly.
Because he logged on, he was fine, then he came off again. So perhaps we could do that.
Okay, thank you. Sergeant, can you hear us now? Okay.
Bob,
yes, Chair, I will go and join.
Amazing. Thank you so much. In this case, we will have to wait a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the same vicinity as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you, Bob, for accommodating Sergeant. Thank you.
I'm not sure we gave you much choice, Bob, but there we are.
Yeah. All right. So in this case, please, Sergeant, can you introduce yourself, please?
Again, sincerest apologies to
No
you,
problem.
Chair, and the council and all councillors and everyone concerned. Yeah, it's Sergeant Dimitri Kassar, representing the Metropolitan Police Service. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning. Thank you. Mr. Panchad, I will go now to you to start your to represent your application.
Okay. We have Councillor Julian also with us. Sorry, Chair.
Pardon?
Sorry. Okay. I'll carry on as long as you're aware about Councillor Julian.
Yes, we know. I have already introduced both my fellow councillors at the very beginning. So if you could please proceed with presenting your application. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, Satpal Singh Wadhwa is the applicant who is sitting next to me. I'll quickly run through his background. He has had his personal license issued to him in 2005. When he had a Nelson Food and Wine in Twickenham till 2013. And in 2015, he bought another shop called Chandni Kiosk, Neat Limited. Under the Neat Limited in Reading. 2016, he had Northumberland Road.
Northumberland Food and Wine, which is another one.
Another shop. He also owns GHS Trading Limited in Stockport. When he's been run all these shops from 2003 till today, all these shops that he's been running, only in 2009, he had a breach for underage sales, under 18. And he was then, since after that, 2009, he hasn't had any problems with running the shops. He saw the opportunity of HM Food and Wine, which is with the post office, and he has been living in the area in King Street, near King Street, since 2000, when he had come to this country. And he's able to broaden his businesses around, and he saw this opportunity as it is in his own area. He has decided to buy this shop area along with the HM Food and Wine. We have put down the operating schedule in our application, and how robustly, we've also discussed how robustly he is going to be promoting the 4 licensing objectives. He does understand that there is a problem in the King Street area, but since he's living there in King Street area, he knows majority of the people around. He knows the area very, very well. So he is able to run the shop in the manner that is required. He will be having a training manual, a refusal book, and all the posters concerning the running of the area in a robust way, promoting the 4 licensing objectives. We understand the responsible authorities have made the objection, but I'd like to clear. I'm going to go back to, sorry, Chairman, about those objections made in by Vicky Hewson and Bob Deere, and to clarify to the committee that Mr. Wadhwa has actually, he runs a company which is with Gurpreet Singh Khurana, and we did send the documents to both the responsible authorities. We're a little bit surprised why those documents are not attached in the bundle. But I would like to clarify that Gurjit Singh Khurana has no link whatsoever. There are 2 different peoples. Gurpreet Singh Khurana and Gurjit Singh Khurana are 2 different people. So there is no link between the previous owners as mentioned by the responsible authorities, and there is a proof of that. If you look at the company's house, which shows Khurana Gurpreet Singh, while Gurjit Singh Khurana
is a different man.
So it's got nothing to do with those 2. Although the responsible authorities are putting it out in their report that Mr. Wadhwa has a connection with that. Again, the another company that is GHS Properties Limited, again, Mr. Khurana Gurpreet Singh. Mr. Khurana Gurpreet Singh is a different person compared to Gurjit Singh. So Mr. Gurjit Singh has no link with Mr. Gurpreet Singh Khurana.
Yeah.
So we just like to clarify the objections that we've seen. We did email on 12th April to Vicky Hewson, which says to justify Mr. Gurjit Khurana has never been in any companies with Mr. Wadhwa. Please see a screenshot from company house, which we are relating this person who we are referring to as Mr. Gurpreet Singh Khurana, which is a totally different person. So there are totally two different persons that you are looking at, and has no connections.
Mr. Panchal, sorry, if you could just confirm who sent was it an email sent by
Yes.
you to which
No.
office? Which
Sorry,
person?
Chairman, the objections that we are referring to, I'm referring to the objections by Vicky Hewson, saying that Mr. Wadhwa has connection with the present owner or the previous owner whose license was revoked. The previous owner does not have any relation with Mr. Wadhwa because there are two different things.
So you send this to the police team?
Yes, the police's objection was that Mr. Gurpreet Singh has a relation with Mr. Wadhwa in the different companies. But may I just bring it very clear that there are two different persons. Gurpreet Singh and Gurjit Singh are two different persons. We have also got it out from the company's house. We did send an email to Vicky Hewson explaining to her that these are two different people. Gurjit Singh and Gurpreet Singh are two different people. But we haven't seen those documents into the bundle. I do not know why. But we'd like to clarify that Mr. Wadhwa has no connection whatsoever with the previous owners.
Okay, that's noted.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next point.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, ma'am, we've discussed with you how robustly Mr. Wadhwa is going to promote the 4 licensing objectives. He's seen the opportunity. He understands the 4 licensing objectives. And you can see he owns other businesses. He isn't a DPS or the all other premises, reason being that he has employed the staff, he understands the staff, and he visits his premises, and he successfully run those businesses. And we wish him a good luck to make sure that he will successfully run the business if the license is granted today. I'm happy to take any questions. My client is happy to answer any questions. And then we could put something up in the summing up once we hear what Responsible Authority's views are.
Okay, thank you. Shall I go first to Bob Deere, the licensing enforcement officer? Do you have any questions to ask Mr. Panchal and Mr. Satma?
Chair, yes, just point of clarification. In the management contract, it says that the business is opening from 7 a.m. in the morning until 11 p.m. Is that correct, or is the application correct where your opening times will be 8 a.m. till 11 p.m.?
Yes, because there is the opening times will be at 7 o'clock, as it says in the contract. Yeah. But he will still open according to the application that we put in at 8 o'clock.
Sorry, that went completely over my head. Are you opening
at 8 o'clock
to sell anything? To sell anything, newspapers, box of matches at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning?
There are no newspapers, so they will be opening at 8 o'clock.
Chair, that's my only question. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Panchal, I think Bob Deere's question was very clear. It is mentioned in the pack that the managing agent will be responsible for opening the premises from 7 a.m. till 11 p.m. Yes. So can you clarify at 7 a.m. what will the premises manager be doing from 7 a.m.? Will he be selling alcohol? Will he be what will he be doing?
Yes, Chairman. Although in the management contract it says 7 o'clock, he has the right to open at 7 o'clock. But because we put the application at 8 o'clock, he will be opening the shop at 8 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. Sergeant Kassa, do you have any questions to ask? Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Sir, so with regards to where the shop is open, it is a special policy area, and on King Street there is a high volume of street drinkers, which cause, in terms of the three licensing objectives, antisocial behaviour, public nuisance, and crime and disorder. In terms of that element of the business, how will Mr. Panchal be dealing with the street drinkers?
Yes, if you look at the bundle page 19 and the conditions laid out on the operating schedule, we have made sure that we will not be selling strong alcohol above 6%, which is the policy of the Ealing Council. And condition number 12, which says no miniatures. So we will not be serving miniatures to the street drinkers, which normally they prefer. So there will be no miniatures under the 5 CLs sold at the premises. Plus, another plus point is Mr. Wadhwa has lived in the King Street area since 2000, and he understands majority of the people around King Street, and he understands who the street drinkers are there. So he will be preventing and not selling alcohol to them.
How has he come to know these people? Does he know them by name, or does he know them personally?
By face. By face. I'm living by face. I know them by face because I'm living at that area since 2005, nearly 25, 24 years. So I know that each and every one, sir. Who's are the street drinker and who won't know.
All right. And in terms of you selling these items of alcohol, whereabouts in the store will they be located? Because there is a way to do things where you make things difficult for these people to come in. Because whilst you may know who these people are, they can still come in, nick them, or cause you issue in terms of public safety. So how would you police that within your environment?
The spirits would be behind the counter, so they would not have access to the spirits anyway. The alcohol fridge will be in line with the counter.
Yeah.
So we would be able to locate if anybody enters in right in front of the counter.
Okay. And then in terms of staff members, how many staff will you be having working at one time, and will it vary from early trading to your evening trading?
2 staff working at all the times. 2 staff.
2 all the time.
All the times 2 staff is there.
Okay, and in terms of your CCTV operation, what system would you be employing, and will the staff who are working on the premises be able to operate that, or will it be you who be the sole operator? Because I used to work on response policing, and I have been to establishments such as yours, and I'm not accusing you of this, but I've been to establishments such as yours, whereby when you go there and you ask, have you got CCTV? They go, we don't know how to operate it. We'll have to call the manager. We call the manager can't come down. So then as a police, we're kind of left in limbo with regards to that. So I know people like to blame the police for these things, but at the same time, the personal responsibility does fall down to the owners such as yourself. So what training will you give your staff in operating the CCTV system? And will they be able to hand the evidence should you report things to the police? Will it be readily available for them there at that moment in time?
I trained them already how to work the CCTV camera. I trained them already. So I got another shop. I trained everywhere. All the 3 shops, I trained all my staff how to work the CCTV camera. If any police come, then they are responsible to show them at same time. So I know about that. So
okay. Mr. Wadhwa, and in terms of your conviction in 2009, where you sold alcohol to people under the age of 18, under the 4 licensing objectives, the objective of
children from harm,
preventing children from harm. Can you give me an assurance that you won't be doing anything of the sort again?
Sorry, what is it?
No, under 18 को जो किया था 2009 में.
Yeah, after that I put the Challenge 25 scheme. So I go another training as well. So since my since 2009, I made that mistake only. After that, I'm running the business since 15 years. Everything is fine.
Okay, and in terms of your
I
staff,
got the refusal book as well. Everything.
and in terms of your staff,
Yeah, I trained all my staff. They knows everything. So Challenge 25 scheme are there. Everything is there.
There will be a training manual which we normally give to all the staff, in which Mr. Wadwa's previous shops, we've also had those training manuals. That is why there were no breaches in any of his shops. And those training manual consist of the Challenge 25 policy, and all the trainings will be recorded every 3 months to the staff. Every 3 months, staff will be trained, and that will be recorded, and the responsible authorities will be able to look at those whenever they visit the premises.
okay. And if I may also ask, in terms of the training of the Challenge 25, when and how did you conduct that with your staff?
There is a training manual. In the training manual, there is a whole procedure of how the staff.
I understand that, but what I am asking is, how do you train? So what facility or how do you relay that information to your staff that are operating the shop? How are you training? So, for example, if I have to have training in certain form of legislation, I'm not saying that you got to pay for it, but I have to go for a course, or I have to go for training specific to that. So, how do you relay that information to your staff?
They will be provided.
Sorry, Mr. Panchal. I'd like Mr. Satpal to answer this question, please.
I got the book like this. Yeah, I got the book. Everything is there. I train my staff. Look, the Challenge 25 scheme are there. You don't need to sell under 18. Everything is there. Refusal book are there. Everything. I told them, look, under 8, you shouldn't be sell under 8. I trained them. I explained them from the book. Don't need to sell alcohol under the age of 18. Refusal book are there. If anything come, anybody come under the age of 18, you need to provide the ID. They need to provide the ID before you sell the alcohol. They check the IDs. Over 18, they're selling the alcohol. If under 18, they're not selling the alcohol. And refusal book are there, and Challenge 25 scheme are there. So I got the book like this in my shop, all the shops.
Okay, and then in terms of the post office side of the business, how is that going to be differentiated? Because that's, I do have a worry that whilst you've alluded to the fact that you may not know each other, I'm just concerned that potentially you are being used as a cover to cover the gentleman who owns the post office side of the business.
Post office, nothing behind me. Is the different Gurjeet running the post office. I will run my own business. So I know nothing about the post office. I don't know about anything about the post office.
So will there be a separate entrance to the post office, or do you come in?
Yeah, there's a separate entrance and a separate queue. Yeah, there's a separate entrance and a separate queue for the post office. So nothing.
Okay, I can't see that because when I've looked at the actual structure of the building, there is no separate entrance to the post office.
Just one entrance and the different queue and the different queue for the post office.
Sorry, can you explain?
The entrance is one entrance to the shops and the post office, and the post office is the different line, different queue to the post office, and my shop is the different queue. So there's nothing concerned with the post office and the off license.
Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Satpal, we didn't really quite understand. You're saying that the post office is completely
different
than the actual premises.
Yeah.
But the post office is actually it's part of the premises, and the license that you're now asking for falls under the same address as the post office.
Yeah. Now, can I explain that, sorry, Chairman, what he meant with the entrance for the building for the whole shop, including the post office, is there is, if you look at the page 29 of the bundle, and if you look at the entrance, there is one entrance which comes in. What Mr. Satpal is saying, that there is a red marked licensable area, And when you enter the shop there is a post office at the back. So what Mr. Satpal is saying, that people going to the post office will have a separate queue if you look at the diagram at the back, and the off license will be in the front.
Yes, but sorry, we don't see any entrance, any separate entrance to the post office from the exterior of the building. Which
Yeah, there
means
isn't.
the post
There
office-
isn't. I've just explained there isn't. The entrance.
Perhaps if you hold this, please, could you please point where? What do you mean?
I mean the entrance. I've just explained. The entrance is one here.
I can't see. Can you please come closer?
No, just wait. Well,
I mean, we might look, if we look at page 89, Chair,
Yes.
or page 35, depending on which pagination you're looking at, I don't think, assuming that's how the shop is, we don't really need to, I can see how the shop is.
Yeah.
It's one entrance.
One entrance, right.
And Mr. Satpal submits there's going to be a separate queue for the post office and a separate queue for the food line. And of course they would, because that's what people
Yes.
go to the post office would want to do.
Yeah.
They need to go to that counter.
But still, it is part of the premises.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
And also, Mr. Satpal, I'd like you to clarify a very important point that I came across while reading the pack. At page 33 of the bundle, you state that the owner will be responsible for rent, business rates, building insurance, and all utility bills during the management period, which, if anything, it is a clarification that the owner of the property is actually in charge of all the bills that would the premises would incur. Could you please explain to us how, in your understanding, this is different to the previous management? Can you please explain?
You're going to pay the rent.
My company is going to pay the rent to his company, the Gurjeet company, and he's responsible for the building insurance and all that. I'm paying the rent only, electricity bill, everything. He's going to responsible to pay
They will
them.
be paying in the rent.
Yeah, I'm paying in the rent everything. I'm paying the rent to him total.
Yeah, but you state in the bundle that Mr. Gurjeet, if I'm not wrong, is no more in charge of the new premises and that he's only in charge of the post office. But from page 33, this very important article states that he will be very much responsible in keeping up with the business going on, with paying rent, business rates, building insurance, and all utility bills.
He's owner of the whole building.
He's the leaseholder. So he's the leaseholder of the property. So that's why my company will pay the rent, everything to his company, and he will pay the everything.
But this wasn't what we read in the bundle, Mr. Satpal, unfortunately. And I'd really like you to explain to us clearly how you mean that the previous owner and management will not be actually involved in anything, but in reality he's very much involved, and that's everything that you mentioned on in the bundle at page 33.
Yes, Chairman, I'd like to explain to you how this.
Mr. Please, can I ask Mr. Satpal to answer? I'd like him to directly answer my question. Thank you.
Can you explain to him? Yes, 7 May. कि वो रेंट विंटर बढ़ते तुम एक लमसम भर रहे हो ना, वो बताओ उसको. In the management contract.
Please, can I, Mr. Panchal, can you please give Mr. Satpal the opportunity to answer without you interfering?
Sorry, Chairman, I have to explain to him what you're asking because he's not understanding what you're asking. So he is my client. I need to make him understand what you're saying. And that is what I'm explaining to him, that what you are intending to ask and what you want.
Okay,
Otherwise,
but I can see that he clearly understands. So please give him an opportunity. And if he doesn't clearly understand, I'm more than happy to repeat the question. Thank you.
Okay, so as I said, we paying the rent to them. As we discussed, we paying the rent to them. As we say, discussed with Mr. Gurjeet Singh, my company will pay the rent to your company, and you will pay the rent and electricity bill to the owner. So that's why we, according to that, we bought the shop.
Okay, I will move on, although I'm not quite satisfied with the answer. But I'll ask now if there's any further questions from Sergeant and Bob Deere. Any further questions you have?
Chair, just very 2 points of clarification. I'd like Mr. Vadval to tell us what date he took over the premises, please.
Sorry?
What date did Mr. Vadval take over the premises?
What date? 2 months before I took over the shop. 2 months.
Was that the 8th?
I opened the company in February, and we took over the shop last 2 months, 2 months before.
So March.
Month of April. In month of April.
What date in April?
I don't know the date exactly.
Well, you've signed this agreement on the 7th of March.
7th of March, yeah. Then
That's when you took over.
I signed the agreement, but I didn't take over the shop. I took the shop. I count the stock after that in month of April. I think
date
third
in
or
April?
fourth April. Yeah.
What date?
I don't know. Third or fourth.
Perhaps another way of when did you make your first monthly payments to your leaseholder?
I paid him as a cash. I didn't make any bank transaction right now. I'm waiting for my license to be granted. If my license is granted, then I'll pay by a transaction by my account. I just paid him cash.
When? What date?
On the same day when I bought the shop.
Yeah. So, and what was that agreement for? So you paid him cash.
We don't
need. Well, I was about to say we don't need to know how much. You paid £1,800, and you paid him rent for what period?
I just paid the rent for first period, for first month. I'm
Okay.
waiting for my, as I said, I'm waiting for my license.
Bob, you happy with that answer, Mr. Dear? Well, I think it's as close as we'll get.
Sorry, Chair, I think that's the closest we're going to get, actually.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
And one other thing, I'd like Mr. To just look at page 29 of the plan of the premises. You mentioned that the alcohol is directly opposite the counter, but it isn't, is it? Because the door opens, if you push it from the left-hand side, straight onto the alcohol fridge.
Yeah.
The alcohol is behind the counter, and the beer will be in the fridge. Yeah.
And that's what I mean. So Sergeant Slessor's question was about people coming in and helping themselves or whatever, or selecting beers before your staff can get round that counter, past the queue of the post office that be queuing on the right-hand side. I think if you look at the plan of the groceries, and stop them going outside. So it's an open opportunity, isn't it, where it is?
But my plan is to move the fridge from there to the other side, near the counter. My planning is to move the fridge where behind the counter. My plan is to put the beers and alcohol there.
Right. So would you not think that your plan should be brought here today to allay everybody's concerns and show us what a great licensee you are, how exceptional you are?
Doesn't mean we can see it, no?
Sorry, Mr. Pancha, I didn't hear that. You said something.
No, same.
Put understand.
हमने बोला ना कि ये काउंटर से हम देख रहे हैं.
Yeah, we can see from the counter. Yeah, I can see easily from the counter to fridge. But my plan is to move from there. If we bring the alcohol, my plan is to move the fridge from there to the other side.
Okay, but you didn't think about putting a plan in and bringing it here today in this application, even?
So at the moment, it's soft drink, so I don't think it. So once the alcohol come, I can move it.
Okay. And one other thing was mentioned about the special priority area.
Yeah.
You know this premises in a special
Yeah, I
priority
know the
area,
special.
don't you?
Yeah. I living
You
in this
lived there for 19 years.
since 2000.
Yeah. Oh, well,
2000
24
living
years.
in area in the King Street. Then I
Yeah.
moved from 2005 from King Street to the Haston. Now I'm living in the Haston. So Haston is not far from the King Street.
So you don't live in King Street, you live in Heston.
I'm living in Haston at the moment, yes.
That's not King Street, is it?
I used to live King Street since
2005, did you say?
2000, yeah. 5 years I
moved
lived
to
there. But King Street is not far from me. From my house, just near literally 2 miles away, 1.5 miles away.
Yeah, full of traffic.
my home,
I drive it a lot.
I know the area
Yeah.
very well.
Okay, thank you. No more questions, Chair.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, fellow councillors, do you have any questions to ask? Councillor Kelly?
No.
Councillor Gallant?
Yeah, Chair, if I may.
Yes,
Yeah.
please go ahead.
Thank you very much. So I've had most of the questions answered in the discussion. I just wanted to check. Just Mr. Vedder, just confirm what Mr. Gurjeet Singh is going to do, and the fact that he's a leaseholder. Could I ask you what Mr. Gurpreet Singh's involvement in this business is, please, as well?
Gurpreet or Gurjeet?
Gurjeet. Well, Mr. Gurpreet Singh was mentioned, and I'd like to ask what his involvement is.
Gurpreet is not any involved in this business. Gurpreet is my indifferent business.
Right.
GHS,
Okay.
which is called GHS property. This business is not here in Birmingham.
Thank you very much. You answered that question. I just wanted to absolutely clarify that. Thank you very much. Yep.
Any more questions, Councillor Gallant?
No, thanks. I'm fine, Chair. Thanks.
Okay, Councillor Kelly, please go ahead.
So sorry to put you on the spot, Mr. Vadva, but I just wanted Mr. Panchal talked about miniatures and how that would assuage he said the Ealing Council normally prefer to have that in their agreements. So why do you think that is, that we prefer not to have the sale of miniatures? So given your understanding, and you've operated other premises, can you understand why there's no miniatures? That would be my question to you. I'm trying to get an understanding of how well you understand the licensing objectives.
Yeah, because of the street drinkers, my plan is not to sell the miniatures and the alcohol above the 6%.
But why is that? Why?
Yeah, it's easy it is easy to buy for street drinker to buy miniatures and drink at the same time, and they goes. So that's why.
We're almost there. I'm trying to give you the opportunity to demonstrate that you understand the licensing objectives. It's just that Mr. Panchal sort of stated normally prefer. He was quite casual about it, and I don't want there to be any casual attitude to miniatures. So I want what is it about miniatures why is it we don't think you want miniatures?
Should I be able to answer that, or do you want the client to answer that?
I want the client. Well, yeah, he's almost answered it, but
yeah.
But Mr. Panchal, you just threw it in there like we normally prefer, like it was some afterthought that to keep us happy. It's quite central.
Let me put it.
That's all right, Mr. Panchal.
Let's give Mr.
the
opportunity to answer the.
Can I? Sorry, Chair.
Yeah,
I do need to clarify Councillor Kelly's views that I was casual. I wasn't casual. But when I look at the policies of the Ealing, and when we have clients with us, we we also train the clients regarding the licensing objectives. And one of our objectives is, if there is an area which is under CIZ or community impact, we make our clients understand that it is essential that that miniatures are not sold because they are the cause of the street drinkers.
Mr. Panshaw, I have to
Right, that's
stop
fine. That's
you
fine. That's fine. That's fine.
because-
No,
So
no, no.
we are not casual, but we are making sure the clients do understand that the promotion of four licensing objectives are
Yes.
very essential.
Thank you, Mr.
Could I
Panshaw.
just ask Mr. Satpal, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, sir.
No, that's fine. Okay, that's
Okay, Councillor Kelly, thank you. Mr. Panshaw.
Yeah.
Mr. Satpal has told us that he's been running many premises, and for him not to really be able to explain why he's not allowed to use to sell miniatures, it is not okay. So I'd like again if Mr. Satpal could tell us again what he understands from it. Thank you.
Because I recently bought the shop, so I don't know. I don't know. It's better to sell the miniatures to the street drinker. So that's why I'm trying to avoid to sell the miniature to the street drinker. So
Thank
Okay,
you,
thank you.
Chair.
And Anthony, Councillor Kelly.
Yeah, so we understand that you paid rent for the shop since the 7th of March. Has there been any visits by the by any responsible authorities to your shop since the 7th of March, Mr. Vadva?
yeah.
Okay, and what was determined in those visits?
There was some alcohol in my store.
Yeah.
Might be seen the alcohol, but that's not for selling. That's for extra. I bought the extra stock. So once my Gurjeet license is cancelled, they put it there. So I kept it there.
Why did you keep it there?
But there was in the store.
Sorry, they were on the premises.
Yes. No, there is a different store. This is not for the selling. This is a different store. The alcohol was there. There was extra alcohol.
Mr. Vadva, they were on the premises, yes?
They were on the premises. Yes.
They were on the premises. And why were they on the premises?
But I have a more option to keep it somewhere else. So I'm keep moving that stuff. Since then I'm keep moving that stuff to my other shops. But
Okay, but you didn't move it. It was in the premises, wasn't it?
At that date, this was in the premises, yes.
Okay, fine. And so was it one visit, two visits? Let me understand.
One visit.
One visit. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Satpal, for answering that so candidly. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
No more questions.
Councillor Gallant, you don't have any further questions?
No, I had that same question, Chair. That's fine. There's no more questions for me.
Okay, perfect. I'd like to draw your attention, Mr. Satpal and Mr. Panshaw, to page 20 under prevention of public nuisance. I know that Sergeant Kassa had asked you about your dispersal strategy. So, Mr. Satpal, I'd like you to confirm to us how you would be dealing with drinkers congregating outside the premises, please. What would you do?
How I do street drinkers?
Yes, if there are a group of street drinkers outside your premises and they are drinking, what would you do?
I keep telling them to just move it from my premises. I'm trying to not sell the alcohol if anything looks drinker. So I'm trying to not sell the alcohol to them. So if anything goes wrong, the police is there. We can call the police to handle that.
Okay, thank you. I will now move to the licensing enforcement officer to make his presentation, please.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much, councillors. This representation is made under two of the statutory licence objectives. It's the public prevention of crime disorder and prevention of public nuisance. The borough has over 1,300 premises licences, 48% of those of which are off licences, and the most being in the Southall area. These premises were previously named, as we've heard, Man Food and Wine, which is also a post office and has been. Premises have been licensed since 2010. and the licence was transferred to Mr. Gurjeet Singh Khurana, who was the designated premise supervisor on the 14th of July 2020. Following one of our licensing visits with trading standards on the 14th of February of 2023, an application was made to review this premises on the 4th of October 2023. The reason we went straight for review is because on that visit we found 3,960 cigarettes, 2,280 counterfeit cigarettes, 20 pouches of roll your own tobacco, 1,070 prescription and Viagra tablets, and some poppy seed. And also we found 120 small nitrous oxide canisters, 385 non-compliant vapes, and 472 packets of Indian tobacco. On the 15th of November 2023, the subcommittee members made a decision to revoke the licence, and that was appealed on the 5th of December of that year, enabling the premises to trade for a further 5 months. The appeal, was then withdrawn 2 days prior to the appeal hearing at Uxbridge Magistrates Court on the 5th of April of this year, after this application was submitted on the 15th of March. This is an application for a new premises licence in the Special Priority Area of Southall that was adopted and still is adopted due to the antisocial behaviour, the alcohol-related crime disorder in the area. There is a rebuttable presumption to refuse all new premises licence, and Section 212 states that the policy is intended to be strictly applied. Exceptions must be genuinely exceptional. One possible circumstance is to substitute one premises for another where the size and location of the second new premises and the household are similar to the previous premises licence granted at this site. Also, this will not be a substitution, as the premises quite rightly lost its premises licence. A decision was upheld from the withdrawal of that appeal. One other exceptions are that the premises will be well managed. It is unknown whether the applicant, well, we now heard that he's got 2 other businesses. I think I heard that he's also the designated premises supervisor at them. I could be wrong. And there are no dwellings nearby. Well, King Street is a highly residential street with shared commercial on the ground floor and at least 2 floors of residential above every premises and behind on the other side of the road. These premises, the applicant, in his operating schedule, has submitted standard conditions and has considered high strength beer to the point that beers above 6% will not be sold in single cans. But in my opinion, it demonstrates a large part of the business will be alcohol, and he will be able to sell multiple cans of 6%, especially as the ABV of the previous licence was 5.5. The plan that shows alcohol will be the main products and will amount to 50 to 60% of the stock of the shop. And obviously, I've discounted the post office side because he has no interest in that part side. And he's stated that Mr. Gurjeet Singh Khurana, involved in the previous licence, will not be involved in the new venture. But we've heard he is obviously the leaseholder, main leaseholder still, and a management contract has been signed. And on page 33 of the report, 14.2 of that lease says that the owner may determine this agreement at any time with immediate effect by giving the managing director notice to that effect if the managing agent is in breach of any of his obligations under this agreement. Sorry, that was total legal gobbledygook to me, but I think that means that if any breaches of the licence and such like that management contract are made, Mr. Gurpreet Singh Khurana can have his licence back, which is will be a straight transfer. Obviously, it's a condition offered by the new buyer. However, we will not be able to adhere to it as the named person is in fact the leaseholder, as I said, will still be allowed in the premises, albeit behind the glass post office counter, from which in the review hearing he stated he had not seen staff bringing in his excuse illicit cigarettes and hiding them around the shop, including the drawers of the photocopy, which is still there, I might add, which is situated 10 feet in front of the post office counter. toilet is situated in the same storeroom where alcohol is currently stored and where boxes of hula hoops containing counter cigarettes were located. Excuse me. Studies have shown that the number of off-licence in the area is a factor in the prevalence of street drinking. Local data shows that there are incidents of alcohol-related crime and antisocial behaviour occurring in parks and open space in the borough in close proximity to off-licences. In the 250-metre radius of this shop, there are currently 7 premises permitted for off-sales. This means that most days, and particularly after 5 p.m, you can see groups of males drinking strong alcohol in the street, especially near to the temple and the street corners. And this makes the area particularly intimidating, especially for lone females and vulnerable people. And there's also been an increase in violent incidents involving drunk males. I will take out the next bit of my representation that says about the company director. There may be a misspelling that I have wrongly done. I visited the shop, as we said, on the 8th of April. And I asked the guy there, Mr. Karana wasn't in the post office. There were 2 people that I've seen on numerous occasions working in that post office. And I asked if they want to speak, could they call the new manager or the new owner? The phone was handed over to me and it was Mr. Karana, who stated quite categorically that he had sold that shop a month before. He had nothing to do with the alcohol. As I pointed out, there was, as you can see from the pictures, 51, 52, 53 and 54, large amounts of alcohol above 5.5 or even 6%. The Bowie, 7.5, miniatures, loads of actually miniatures, and the good old Carpacci, straight at the bottom of the picture on page 52, which is 9%. We've heard that Mr. Vadval had just put the stop there. It'd obviously been there since he took over in March, when the appeal, well, actually on the 5th of April, sorry, when the appeal had been dismissed. So I've heard nothing here today, Chair and the committee, to allay any of my concerns. I haven't heard anything in the operating schedule or from his own presentation that would consider exceptional circumstances. So I say this application should be refused in its entirety. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Deer. Any questions to ask Mr. Deer? Mr. Panchal, Mr. Satpal, do you have any questions?
No, thank you, Chair.
Fellow councillors? Okay, I see a hand. Mr. Councillor Gallant, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bob. Can I ask you, you spoke about the position of the fridge, the beer fridge near the front door, which obviously looks very close to the front door. And is there any arrangements there, any alterations to that plan which would sort of allay your fears about sale of alcohol in this premises?
No, none at all, sir.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Councillor Gallant. I'll now invite Sergeant Kassa to present his application.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, councillors. I can only concur with Bob Deer in regards to a lot of what he has said. We've put in our representation. Yes, the shop, the current shop, HM Food and Wine, is situated on the busy locale of King Street, which is a special policy area within the London Borough of Ealing. This was put in place on King Street due to the area being largely affected by crime, antisocial behaviour and nuisance, and more so than other areas within the London Borough of Ealing. I'm also aware that the London Ambulance Service do receive a lot of high volume of calls related to that area in terms of dealing with people who are highly intoxicated, or whether there have been unfounded allegations of assault, which is indirectly led from a lot of these off licenses in that particular area selling alcohol to these people. concern for me, which has been answered, but I still think is somewhat a concern. The applicant, Mr. Vadva, has got one conviction in 2009 for selling alcohol to persons under the age of 18. And whilst I understand there hasn't been anything since that period of time, there is nothing to allude that maybe the staff who are on the premises would not do that, if that makes sense what I'm trying to say. The premises has previously had a license, as Bob Deere has alluded to, and whilst the previous owner, who will still be involved in the business, although indirectly with the post office, I do have a concern that there is still some connection between both these people in terms of a business arrangement. Whilst yes, we may have got the spelling wrong when we did a due diligence check on Companies House, I still feel that there is a connection there, because as we've had in this discussion, Mr. Vadva has stated that he's paid rent to the alleged owner who owns the leasehold or the freehold of that property, which in turn to me would mean he owns the premises and only the renting of the business area or the off-license section is to that person. I think in terms of, it is clear to me from the evidence both Mr. Deere and myself have presented today and within the conversation here, that Mr. Vadva, that we don't necessarily have the confidence that 3 of the licensing objectives will be promoted, and that is public nuisance, prevention of crime and disorder, and with regards to the underage alcohol, protecting young persons. So from our side, we do not necessarily support the application, Chair. Thank you for giving me the time to elaborate.
Thank you. Now, is there any questions, Mr. Panchal, you'd like to ask? And Mr. Satpal, would you like to ask any questions to Sergeant Casa?
No, thank you very much, Chair.
No, I'll move now to Councillor Gallant.
Yes. So I guess this is a matter of judgment, but you've obviously expressed your reservations there. So there's 2 sides. There's the public side of it, and there's the actual management side of it. Which is the one of most concern to you, i.e. having another outlet of alcohol, or the specific management of this, or potential management issues in this premises?
Councillor, for me, it is the potential management of the premises, which then indirectly leads to the public safety element, if that makes sense.
Okay, so it's more about the premises than the actual generic sale of alcohol in the area. Okay, thank you very much. That's great. Thanks. Okay, thank you. That's great. Thanks.
Councillor Kelly, do you have any questions?
No, Chair. I briefly, for some reason, my camera went off as Mr. Kassar, but no, I have no questions. Thank you.
All right. In this case, I'd like to just confirm that I didn't hear of any conditions offered or agreed during our discussion today. Can we confirm? Alison?
Chair, the conditions will be as per the operating schedule, should you grant the licence.
Yes, thank you. In this case, we'll move to summing up. Could the responsible authorities briefly sum up, please, first?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, as I said before, I've heard nothing to allay any of my concerns. One point that I'd like to bring is that even though Mr. Carano will be responsible for the post office alone, allegedly, the storeroom where all the stock is kept, as per the plan on page 29, is open to the elements. There's no door on there. You can walk straight in. The toilet is there. So Mr. Duran will be in and out of there. The staff on the 8th of April were the same staff that I'd seen previously. They may have been better trained and seen the training manual. However, they're set in their ways and who they listen to. The premises is open till 11 o'clock. The post office opens late as well. I don't know what time that shuts, but I know it's been open past 7 o'clock before. So I would say, Chair, that my decision, my recommendation, sorry, still stands and refuse, please.
Thank you. Sergeant Kassar?
Thank you, Chair. From my side of things, from the policing side of things, in our discussion today, nothing has allayed my fears with regards to that. So I'm not going to carry on and be long-winded, but in terms of what I've just described, yeah, I still stand with the same belief. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Panchal, now is time to sum up.
Thank you very much, Chair. I do need to put it very open. You have seen that Mr. Satpal has got previous shops and has run it very well. There was only one incident in 2009 again. After that, it is another about 11, 12 years, more than 14 years that he has not conducted any breaches. He does understand the promotion of the 4 licensing objectives. He has run it very successfully, and he is definitely going to be successful at this place. That is what we have in our opinion. He has made efforts to train his staff in these previous premises with us. We do make people understand when they come to us that what are the policies of the councils. He understands that. We understand that how the premises should be robustly promoted. He understands that. He has not gone away from it, and he feels that he will be able to work with the responsible authorities. He will be able to promote the 4 licensing objectives robustly if the license is granted today. We have the operating schedule in the application, which, as you've heard from Ellison, that it would be as a condition onto the license. We're happy for your committee to decide, and if any conditions, extra conditions are required, we're happy to have them. We will be able to, if your committee decides that the position of the alcohol would be moved, yes, we are happy to have that condition on. And coming back to the business structure, the business structure is not for this committee to decide how the business structure would work. As far as the rent is paid and everything else is paid, there is a management contract which clearly states that he has to pay the rent to the person who owns the lease. It is called a sublease or a sublet. So this premises is going to be on a sublet. May I also, when you're making your decision, make it very absolutely clear that if Mr. Wadhwa was removed out from the premises in the future and the license be transferred to Mr. the previous owner, that transfer could easily be objected by Mr. Deere or the responsible authority, because it does go towards the responsible authority before that license is transferred or granted. And I'm sure if it is refused, there will be no license in the future at the premises. So, ma'am, we feel that the license be granted today. That's what our feeling is. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Panchal. We'll now move to deliberation. The panel will retire to deliberate together with legal advisor and the clerk, and should be back around, let's say, 12:40. Alison?
That sounds about right, yes.
All right. And